Welcome to the Prime Health Podcast with your host, Dr. Derek Barron. Dr. Barron interviews doctors, wellness experts, and healthcare leaders who are revolutionizing how we approach health and longevity. The Prime Health Podcast explores breakthrough science, personal and patient stories, and practical insights that are shaping the future of health and wellness. So sit back, listen in, and prepare to transform how you think about your path towards Prime Health with Dr. Barron and his special guest.
Welcome back to the Prime Health Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Derek Barron, and I'm here to bring you cutting-edge insights and strategies from leading healthcare experts for your journey to Prime Health in life and in business. Now, let me ask you this question. Have you ever felt tired, foggy, or just not yourself? And even after doing all the right things that have been suggested, going to the appointments, getting the labs, but you still don't feel as though you have the real answers? Well, that's exactly the gap that today's guest saw after decades in healthcare. And instead of accepting it, our guest, Noreen Connolly of the IV Hub Wellness, built an entire business focused on helping people restore energy, optimize their health, and actually feel like themselves again. So if you're like me, I'm excited to hear what she has to bring for us today. So it'll be another great episode. But before we do, just a quick sponsor message from Grow Solutions, where we believe every healthcare professional deserves an exceptional growth partner to match their ambition and reach their potential. Now, Grow Solutions is not an agency or vendor. We're a growth partner, and we take diagnostic approaches to your business. We analyze where time, money, leads, or opportunities may be leaking. We help eliminate stressors in business, such as new patient or client acquisition, marketing or growth strategies, reducing operational chaos with proven systems, frameworks, and SOPs. And yes, even understanding that AI stuff that's out there and the agents, because those bots are coming for us, whether we like it or not. So if you ever thought this, I'm too busy to grow, too slow to scale, or too overwhelmed to fix it, we are your solution. If you have any questions, reach out to me on any social channel. I'll get back to you, or a team member will be. But you came here for a reason. That's to hear from one of our another amazing guests. So Noreen, welcome to the Prime Health Podcast. And please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, Derek. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Noreen Connolly. I live outside the Boston area of Massachusetts. I've been a nurse for over 30 years, and I started my business about 5 years ago.
And that you were a nurse, and then there was a reason. Well, let me jump back into that. You were a nurse for 30 years. Was there a moment in life that said, you know what, I want to become a nurse? What made you choose the career in medicine?
When I was in sixth grade, my grandmother died of breast cancer, and I hung out with the hospice nurses, and I thought, I could do this. So that was kind of my inspiration.
Okay, love that. I'm sorry about your grandmother, but I love how that was an inspiration for you to get into it for sure.
Yeah.
And as most people can hear, I can hear that Boston accent. We've had our conversations. I love it. It's very unique. You're definitely not from Texas. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah. So as I was reading through your site, the goal that you have and your company has is you want to help people feel great from the inside out. Tell me how the IV Hub Wellness can do that for your patients.
We can do that on many levels. We do it through IV therapy. Not all our IVs are hangover IVs. We see very few of those. A lot of people are very health conscious and come in and get IV therapy. We also do medical weight loss. So the beautiful thing about medical weight loss is you don't always only lose weight, you also balance your metabolic health. So like high insulin levels, high hemoglobin A1Cs, the metabolic profile completely changes for the better. We also do hormone replacement therapy. We do both patches, pills, and we also offer pellets for those patients who want that. Okay. And we do labs in office. And the labs has been the most exciting part so far because we've uncovered so many things that basic labs don't pick up. We go the extra mile with the labs, and we've uncovered some amazing things that people can jump on and get. I had one woman who thought she was destined for type 2 diabetes because her whole family has it. She was borderline, and I was able to give her supplements, and we're going to recheck her labs in a few months to make sure her hemoglobin A1C, which is your blood sugar over 3 months, make sure that number comes down. She's not destined for type 2 diabetes. She can stop it, and she didn't realize that.
What was her reason for coming in initially then?
She just didn't feel great. She was in her 40s and she just didn't feel great. And she A lot of people think their labs are going to be crazy wild off, but a lot of times they're just not in the optimal level. They might be normal, but they're not in the optimal level. And that can really
Okay.
affect how you feel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You had said that you do some hormone replacement therapy. Have you seen kind of a change in direction from mainly women, of course, once the black box, the label was removed from that? Have you seen a change?
Yes. And for women who are on the estrogen patches, it's been an ordeal because now some pharmacies, they run out of stock. And then
Mm.
if they do have the stock, they're changing the brand every, time you refill your prescription. That's been a real struggle because different formulations are, can make you feel different. So when you're changing the prescription of whatever company has that patch, it kind of can throw you off.
So do you think from the provider or I guess maybe the pharmacy that has them, are they just doing that from a cost perspective, or are they just looking
I
for
think they're
different
getting
avenues?
what's available, and the consistent brand isn't always available. So they jump to another brand. So the patient might feel great on brand A, but not great on brand B.
Is that something that the woman will feel immediately, a change? So if, for the last week they've been wearing patch A,
Yes.
they go to patch B, they'll
Yeah.
feel that immediately?
Mhm. Yep.
Really?
Hmm.
Really? What can you do to combat that for them?
There's really nothing. Well, one thing we can do is offer them pellets, which again, pellets are not for everyone. Pellets, we use a calculator to calculate the correct dose for the patient so we don't overdose. And the pellets are implanted in your hip, or for men in the flank. And
Okay.
they're released slowly over 3 to 4 months. So you get more of a steady state as compared to a patch where, for example, I was on the patch, my estrogen levels were not high enough to protect my bones. But when I went on the pellet, my estrogen levels were high enough to protect my bones. To
Hmm.
give you an
Interesting.
example.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff you'll go through with your consultations and through the examination you do, and of
Yeah.
course the labs that you find out from.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
So you'd said that one woman that, thought she was destined for type 2, that, she just wasn't feeling well. So I guess from a general perspective with respect to healthcare today, why do you think so many people feel exhausted or off, even if their labs do come close to that normal, but not up?
I think one reason is, like you said, the labs are normal but not optimal, but they also don't know what they can do, what supplements they can take, because their primary care is going to give them a prescription from the pharmacy, whereas I can get them natural supplements that are third-party tested that can really so like the prescription might be for type 2 diabetes, but if you're not there yet, it's kind of like a watch and wait, as if to get that prescription. But
Mhm.
we can recommend third-party tested supplements that will lower those levels so you don't end up needing the prescription. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, it does. So basically the primary care physician is like you're on track
Yeah.
to be a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah.
So we'll put this medication out here for when you get closer. And what you're saying is, if we hear that, why not put you on supplements that pulls you back off of that track?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Love it. Love it. So a lot of people, I think you hit on a little bit that when you first talked about your IV business, is that a lot of people it's been known for it's a hangover
Yeah.
component. So is that the biggest misconception about
I
IV
would
clinics? Or
say
are there more misconceptions?
definitely, yeah. There's a lot
Yeah.
of there's IV vitamins that are given. There's NAD that's very popular in social media right now. NAD is something found in our bodies, and as we age, especially after the age of 40, our levels decrease. And NAD is really good for brain health. We have NAD receptors all over our bodies. So when we get a NAD infusion, it's a very slow infusion. It can last up to 2 hours. And the reason it's slow is our NAD receptors get triggered. So you might feel chest tightness. It's not a heart attack, it's the NAD receptors in your chest. You might feel a little nauseous. You might sneeze. You might get a runny nose. And then if any of those things happen, we slow down the IV even more. And it, like I said, a NAD drip can last 2 hours, but people feel amazing afterwards. I recently got a NAD drip, and I tell you, my brain was so sharp. I could remember people's names that I normally could not remember. Like, you go to the supermarket and you see like you kids played sports with like their kid, and you're like, oh, I can't remember their name. I could remember everyone's name.
Really? How long of a lasting effect does that offer?
About
I'm sure everybody's
for me about 10 days. It can last like 10 days to 2 weeks.
Wow. And how often can you get a NAD drip?
NAD drips are one of the more pricier ones, so it really depends on your budget. You could do it twice a week. You can also get NAD injections that are a lower dose than the drip, but you won't get the dose isn't as high, so you're not going to get the biggest effect, but you could do them more often. You could do the injections like 3 times a week as opposed to doing the drip like once or twice a month.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you said, Noreen, that if like when you had it, you're sitting in your office and it'll be a 2-hour process?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Just slow over time.
Yeah. You need
And is that the only thing in the Yeah. Is it the only thing in the IV at that point in time, or can you also mix kind of a cocktail?
No, our policy is that's the only thing in the IV. There's mixed places do it differently, and that's how we do it. We just do pure NAD. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay. But do you offer some other cocktails that do have mixes?
Oh, yeah.
And NAD is one of them,
Yeah.
that it's NAD only.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We do
Okay.
IVs. B complex is like the base in a lot of our IVs. Vitamin C, which is a potent antioxidant. We offer glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. Glutathione is something we all have in our bodies, and then our levels decrease. Some people like glutathione for skin lightening. But the thing with that is there's no research behind it. There's no set dose. So it can be frustrating because people think, well, I'm doing this to whiten my skin and it's not changing, but they need to take like a before pick and do it over time. But there's no set time, nothing in the research that says like, oh, this many doses is going to lighten your skin. It's a hard thing.
Yeah. So when we talk about IVs, we have to kind of talk about a needle in a sense. And sometimes needle gives people fear.
Yes.
So some of the important factors of your business are absolutely building trust.
Yes.
If I'm a patient, or that woman that came in her 40s, worried about her, subtle change that's going to shift into type 2 diabetes, what's your thought process on how you help that person build trust to make sure it's a comfortable relationship?
We're very honest. We don't sell you anything we don't think you need. If we have packages, we're not going to sell you the most expensive just because you walked in the door. We're going to really pick and choose what is going to help you as a person. Okay. And I think people sense that. We don't try to, when they're sitting there getting an IV, we don't try to upsell them on a million things. We just say, oh, I think this would help you and this is why. No pressure. This is available. And I think that really helps build trust.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
What do you think are the top 3 or top 5 services that most of the people are coming into your practice for?
I'd say weight loss for sure.
Okay.
And then IVs second. Our most popular IV is the Myers cocktail that has magnesium in it. A lot of us are low in magnesium. It has vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant. This is the speech I say every day. It has B complex that will give you energy, and also has B12 for energy and mental clarity. And then I would say B12 shots are very popular. Vitamin D is the most underrated hormone. Those shots are popular. And our Triimmune injections that are really good for allergies and for if you're coming down with a cold, if you nip it in the bud, if you get a Triimmune injection, it has vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant, zinc, which is proven in studies to cut down on the number of days you have a virus, and glutathione, the master antioxidant. So,
well, you're good at your pitch. I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. That means you have people coming in the door for you, which is fantastic. So how is this accepted by other healthcare professionals in your community and in others? Like, what's your thought on how they're accepting of it? options?
We don't see a lot of healthcare providers. We see nurses. I've seen dentists. Maybe a primary care doctor here and there if they had the flu, but our
Mm,
primary business is like just general middle-aged men and women
okay.
who are, blue collar workers. And we also have some business owners too that come in regularly and get treatments done.
So you had said weight loss is important. GLP-1s are out there on the market. People are coming in or going places for that. I assume that's, a portion of what you offer at your clinic.
Yes, we've been doing GLPs for 4 years now.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
All right. And quick results with that. And then you're
Amazing.
modifying that.
What I love about GLPs is the metabolic health improvement that you
Okay.
can't get. I had a patient who had, I knew her, she was a friend of mine, and beautiful woman growing up. As she got older, she could not get the weight off with diet and exercise. We did her labs. Her insulin level was super high.
Mm,
So her primary care wouldn't check insulin level. That's not like a regular lab you would check. Her
okay.
hemoglobin A1C wasn't through the roof. Hemoglobin A1C is your blood sugar over 3 months. So that number was not through the roof, but the insulin level was. And that insulin holds on to fat. And if she took a GLP, she would have dropped her insulin levels, dropped her weight. It would have changed her whole metabolic profile. Um,
And because of that, do you work with type 2 diabetics with GLP-1s, and how does that interfere with some
no,
of?
they can with their doctor's
Okay.
permission. You just have to closely
Okay.
watch their blood sugar. But type 2 diabetics usually go through insurance. We're cash pay. We don't take insurance. So type 2 diabetics
Okay.
usually go through their insurance.
Okay. So then how do you help them? Because I think some of the things that you hear out there about the GLPs is that if you take too much or you lose weight too fast,
Yes.
and then you can have a rebound effect to it.
Yes.
I assume you're also educating them on this is how you should have a lifestyle change along the way.
Yes, you need to eat high protein. Your hair is protein. Your muscles are built with protein. And if you're not eating protein, you're going to shed your hair a lot. And you're going to get osteoporosis because your bones need muscle to press against them to build bone. So
Okay.
what I tell them is you need to eat high protein, and they can't lose too much weight too fast because that's just losing muscle. That's not losing fat.
Yeah.
Everything is low and slow and specialized doses, and the least dose that's really going to do the job for you. We don't, jump too fast or anything like that.
Okay. So a new patient coming in looking for weight loss looks at GLPs, you run your blood panels to see what's going on with them.
Yes.
And then you start at a certain dose, you look for a way in which it's done improvements, whether it's weight loss or other aspects.
Yes.
And then you can ratchet that number up. And then you say, okay, slowly ratchet up. And do you get to a point that you're like, okay, this is enough. If you try it again, then you drop back down. How does that
You
work?
can switch from semaglutide works on one hunger hormone. Tirzepatide works on two hunger hormones. So you can switch from when they max out on the first one. Most of the times they get used to it and they don't see weight loss, and because their receptors get used to it. So they have a couple of options. They could move to tirzepatide, or they could take a month off to reset their receptors and then start again. When you take a month off, you risk gaining any weight, so, some of the weight that you've lost. So it's up to the patient, really.
Okay. So with either semaglutide or tirzepatide, which one of those stops the craving for me to want more Reese's peanut butter cups? Both. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look at that as an option. So you were a nurse for 30 years in practice.
Yes.
What was kind of like, did you have one issue or multiple that you were just seeing where people were struggling that made you shift into this IV Hub Wellness?
Yeah. I worked on a cardiology floor at a major Boston hospital. And I just, everything was, everything in the medical, anything in hospitals or medicine, I found was either putting Band-Aids on something or treating it as it was, it was already done. It was already a problem. So they would treat it. But if you could get in front of that and treat things before they became an issue, they wouldn't have all these problems that needed all this medication and all these procedures to help them get better.
Okay, understood. So then what made the jump for you did you slowly step away from, the cardiac position at the hospital, or did you, to start your IV Hub Wellness?
I had a nursing agency before the IV Hub Wellness, and we dealt with private pay, and it was during COVID, and I absolutely hated it. I can tell you, I hated it because it was 24/7. During COVID, it was wealthy clients who had the money to pay for private nursing because private nursing is not cheap. Yes. And they all wanted nurses who were vaccinated. And that was just and nurses were already burnt out working in the hospital. So to try to find a nurse who wasn't burnt out and was vaccinated, it wasn't a good experience for me. Yeah. But other people I know other people who have the same business and they love it. I just didn't love it.
Okay. Well, we have those episodes in life that make those changes for us. So then you realize that this is a great business model. Yeah. And then you said, I want to create a franchise. I'd love to hear about that transition of it itself. And I'll ask some more questions about the franchise model itself as well.
Sure. I looked at all the IV franchises, and there are about 17 of them, and they all had these big build outs and these expensive chairs, and you needed all this money to start it. And I thought, I'm going to try a different model in a salon suite where I don't have I was a single mother with 3 kids and I wasn't getting child support. And I thought, I'm not going to do a big build up. I'm just going to walk into the salon suite and see how it goes. So I ended up opening, there's 4 locations now with the salon suite model, and it's been good. People can turn a profit a little faster because they don't have the build out loan that comes along with all the other new business loans you have to take.
Okay. And are those all in and around the Boston area?
Yes,
or you're
right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. Now, I'm a chiropractor by trade, don't practice anymore, but you'll have nurses that are listening to this. You'll have medical doctors that are listening to us. You may have somebody that owns a spa themselves. Who are ideal candidates for opening up a franchise model for themselves with you?
Ideal candidates could be an RN, a medical assistant, an esthetician, a chiropractor, a physician assistant. Those are the ideal the ideal owners, because they have some grasp on them. And chiropractors, if I didn't say that, they have a grasp on healthcare in general. That's what makes them more ideal, but you do not have to be a healthcare provider to own a location.
Okay. Is there licensing? I'm sure it's state dependent, but licensures of who has to do it. So they probably do have to have a nurse if they're doing, yes, inserting needles.
Yeah. In Massachusetts, you need a registered nurse, and then you also need a medical director who can write the orders and oversee everything.
Fantastic. And so you started with 1 or 2 yourselves, and you had some people that worked with you that ended up, branching out and doing their own?
Yes, I opened 3 of them. One of them I sold to one of my nurses, and then the 4th one of my nurses opened on her own from scratch.
Fantastic. And you had said, Noreen, that it's not a big, I'm sure there's a financial layout, and if people are interested, they can reach out to you for that, but not as big as some of the other franchise models that are out there. It's a little safer.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how long I want to ask a question. How long would it take for somebody to be profitable in the business? I know everybody's different. My personality may not be good as yours, so I might take a little bit longer, or maybe the community is harder, but in general, how long until somebody can potentially find some profit aspects?
Okay, I can tell you what our nurses, because our nurses found profit within 6 months, and here's why. They can work themselves. They don't have to pay staff. If you have to pay staff, it may be 18 months before you see a profit. 18 months to 2 years.
Okay. And the salon suite style you're in a business, you have a room. What's the layout look like for somebody to understand?
200 square feet. You have 40 other businesses in the building with you that also, if you get to know everyone, which I have, they give you referrals.
Sure.
And then if you give discounts to the salon suite owners themselves, they look good. They talk about what they got done, and then they tell their friends and their clients. And that's another way to to grow your business.
Yeah, that's a good business model there of getting to know your neighbors,
Yes.
literally in the business,
Yes.
treating them well, getting referrals. There's no better way to build a business than through referral, for sure.
I agree.
So yeah, so somebody buys a franchise model, or even in your own practice, who is the ideal patient that walks in the door?
Someone that's interested in health. Like I said, we get a lot of middle-aged. Most of our clients are middle-aged, and it's probably when they start feeling like crap is middle-aged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say anyone who's very health conscious, and a lot of people are very health conscious now.
Yeah. Social media is helping that. Social media, TikTok or Instagram is great, and it has its negative attributes as well, as that everybody and their brother and sister can do this and follow me because I'm an influencer.
Yes.
But when you don't see what it looks like from the chest down,
Yes.
it's a problem.
I agree.
So yeah, they have to come in and see, perfect providers like yourself.
I agree.
So in that model, when the ideal patient comes in, and whether they're doing weight loss or whether they're doing the NAD treatment or your Myers drip, how do you help manage expectations with the patients?
I tell them the vitamins can last up to about 2 weeks. When they urinate, their urine might be like extra yellow, and you might smell the vitamins, and that's all normal. If you're not deficient, you might not feel like a major wow, but if you're dehydrated and you're low in these vitamins, you'll feel a major wow. But if you're pretty good with your vitamins and you're not dehydrated, you probably won't feel any major change. I can tell you, when I get really run down, I'll do a Myers cocktail, and I just feel like I have my energy back, and I just feel rejuvenated. So I can just tell you how I feel when I get it. But I'm not deficient in any of these things, so it's not like a wow. It's more like, all right, I just feel like I have my get up and go back again.
Okay. And how long, again, it's unique to you, but how long does something like that last?
10 days to 2 weeks, the vitamins. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And right away, 2 weeks later, you can jump back in and have another one if you want it.
Yep.
Love that. I've not done one myself yet, so I love how you're explaining that. That's fantastic. So in your business right now, I guess for two perspectives, one, in your personal business with your IV Hub Wellness, what are you focusing on in the business as far as with patients are concerned?
Right now, we're focusing on some exciting new packages that we've created for weight loss with the peptide called tesamorelin that helps burn belly fat. So that is something we're rolling out now. And again, the labs are really a game changer for people to know where they're at.
Yeah. And I want to ask, I still want to ask about the franchise component, but I want to ask about the labs. A lot of people are concerned that I'm just going to go to my GP and say, I want to order some labs, and they're going to order the typical panel. What's the difference, from a typical panel that a GP will order versus what you're looking for?
The GP will order like a thyroid TSH, a thyroid regular. We do a deep dive and we do all the thyroid hormones. A GP will order a hemoglobin A1C, which is your blood sugar over 3 months. We'll order that, but also an insulin level, because your hemoglobin A1C could look good, but meanwhile your insulin's spiking, and it's only going to be a matter of time before your A1C is not looking good. But you can jump on that to prevent, the A1C from going up.
Perfect. Okay. Now to the franchise model and what are you focusing on that behalf of generating more business for you?
I just hired a sales team. Well, I'm about to hire a sales team that I met with today that I'm really happy about. And our goal is to grow outside of Massachusetts, nationwide, and they're going to help me do that, because I've tried myself for the past year, and what's the definition of insanity? Like doing the same thing over and it doesn't work. So that's why I hired the sales team.
Good for you. Congratulations. That's fantastic. All right. So I'd love to hear a success story of somebody that's coming in. I know you shared a couple of them, but hit me with another one of success that's come through your business and even in the franchise model too.
That's good. So a success story I would say is a woman who lost 60 pounds over a year with a GLP and taking care of herself and exercising. And it was a total transformation and she looked amazing. It was,
Okay.
I had the before and after photos and it's just amazing to see. Like people look so much younger when they lose weight.
Yeah.
Like weight ages you in so many ways, you know?
Yeah. Amazing. How about for your franchisees that you have? What have they said about the experience?
Oh, I'm so proud of both of them. Neither of them have ever been business owners like myself. And, Jessica took over. She bought one of my locations and she's really doing really well. And she's also in a graduate school program. So she has a lot going on. And then my other nurse, Kristen, started the Danvers location from scratch. And she has built it up into like a nice business with a nice community and great patients. And I'm really proud of both of them.
Okay, good. Love to hear that. Well, I'm sure they had fantastic leadership along the way to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not been easy as a business owner. It's not been easy starting your own. Yeah. But the fortitude to stick with it is great. And the true end result of that is that your patients are getting success. Of course, your clients in your business.
Patients, I agree.
Yeah. And then when you get another franchise and another franchise, you're helping that reach of patients in other locations. So
absolutely.
I love to hear that. Yeah. All right. Last few questions for me. If someone's interested in learning about your business in the Boston area, I'd love for you to share how you'd like them to get a hold of you. And also, if they're interested in potentially looking at the franchise option, how could they reach out to you?
Sure. www.theivyhubwellness.com is a great way. You can look at the website and see what we offer. And there's a way to reach out to myself or someone on my staff and to connect.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Noreen. 2 last questions.
Okay.
Being a nurse, 30 years, now having your IV business, if you could give us one piece of advice that would affect our health in a positive way, what would?
Get your vitamin D level checked. So many people don't. Your level should be between 60 and 100. It shouldn't go over 100. You need to get it checked because over 100, it can affect your calcium level. But between 60 and 100, below 60, you're at risk for colds, flu, colon and breast cancer for women, prostate and colon cancer for men. So if a patient comes to me and says, I've been sick all winter, I automatically know their vitamin D level is super low without even checking it.
Yeah. Interesting. You have an IV. What's the difference between getting vitamin D in a pill supplement versus a drip?
You can't get it in a drip. It's fat soluble. So you need to get it in an injection. You need, I say the pills are honestly better than the injection. I'll tell you why. Because the pills have vitamin D3 with K2. K2 tells the vitamin D3 where to go. That's in the pill. That's not in the injection. The injection's good to boost you, but still, I would say take the pill. It's superior.
Love that. Thank you very much for that.
Third-party tested, though. Full Scripts on our website has vitamin D3 with K2, and they're all third-party tested.
All right, wonderful. All right, last question. You've been an amazing guest here on the Prime Health Podcast. Everybody has a different, look at this. What would your definition of Prime Health be?
Your hormones balanced, your thyroid in check, vitamin D level optimal, B12 level optimal.
Okay. That's one more time for the slow people like me. What would that be?
Your hormones balanced. So testosterone, estrogen, and for women, progesterone. So those 3 balanced, your thyroid balanced, making sure all your levels are optimal. Your vitamin D level is between 60 and 100, and your B12 level is within optimal range and not low.
Okay. And anybody that comes into the clinic would get tested and find those levels?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, Noreen, you've been a fantastic guest. You shared a lot of information. I appreciate it. This is what I love about doing this is I learn a ton when I'm on here with amazing guests like yourself.
Thank you, Dr.
You've got a great perspective of being in healthcare and probably at the start and 10, 20 years into it, loving what you're doing, but then you're just seeing that something is wrong with people, and there has to be improvements along the way of what we can do for that. So you took a chance,
Yes.
stepping away from being a nurse in the cardiac region and saying, I'm going to do this. So you made some adventure out into entrepreneurism of what you've done. And I think that's fantastic. I always tell people, you've had to have gotten one thing. I'm sure it was more, but if you got one thing from this podcast and what Noreen had to say, please do share it, whether that's to friends, family, somebody you're playing pickleball with, or somebody that has a cold. Tell them to listen to this because it's very impactful. It's that whole butterfly effect and the ripple in the water. If we can share it with one person, they're going to spread that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the Boston area, please do look her up. She's got 4 locations in and around that area from what she has and other people. So that's always important. Selfishly, I always say, please subscribe to our podcast. We love to get this message out to more people. But I always say, until next time, remember that wellness is a true journey we are all on together. Whether you're taking charge of your own health or helping others in theirs, every step forward matters. So please do keep the journey of staying on your Prime Health journey at all times. Again, Noreen, thank you so much for being an exceptional guest here on the Prime Health Podcast.